I'm never talking to you, Siri.
I didn't get punched.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, you guys, my name is Jen, and welcome back to my van build. This is Walter, my 2020 Promaster 1500 136-inch wheelbase high roof van. So today, what's going on is I am getting started on my pre-wiring. So earlier, well, a couple weeks ago now, I got in here and really thought about the layout.
Okay, guys, so I am sitting here trying to sort out my power system. And I could be wrong on this. I thought I could get stuff in advance and then figure out some of my appliances and stuff at a later date. But it seems like if I want to plan my solar system effectively, I need to have at least my main components in hand. So I can't really do my pre-wiring until I know what gauge wire I need, and to know what gauge wire I need to know the amps that the items will be pulling. I also need to make some decisions on whether I'm going to do a 12-volt fridge or just like a 120-volt plug-in fridge. I need to figure out if I'm doing just a cooktop or the cooktop and the stove. I need to figure out I need to figure out what diesel heater I'm getting. Like, I need to figure out a lot of stuff and where that's gonna go. So I feel kind of stuck. Also, I look like I have a black eye. I don't have a black eye. I think I wore mascara yesterday, and I didn't get punched.
Okay, guys, so I am out here really trying to get my electrical down. To do that, I needed to know my layout, so I have created this lovely faux bed, faux bench, faux kitchen, and faux wall, so I can kind of understand what's going on. And then what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm labeling where all of the wiring has to go to. So this window is coming. Disregard this. But cabinet, water tank, that's TBD. Charging station. I have my reading light with USB charger, plugs down here, dedicated fridge plug, dedicated kitchen plug, location TBD, DC power for the stove, the bench is down here, and then I need to figure out where my switches are going for ease of use. So I taped out the layout on the ground. You can't really see most of it because my cardboard friend. I got in and I taped out the layout and really thought about how the space would function. So it basically just involved me standing here for like an hour, just thinking and looking at things. So what I'm doing today is just running the wiring for all of these outlets. I'm not hooking anything up. I don't have any of the electrical components yet. They are en route to me. But I am getting in there and wiring everything through and labeling it all so that when my electrical components do come in, I can start wiring things in. For this project, I've got some 1-inch split conduit that I'm going to use to protect the wires where I can. I have my 12 gauge negative and positive wiring for all of my DC circuit items, so things that are wired directly into the van. So that would include my toilet fan, the fan in the roof, it will include the stove top, it includes a few other components. And then I have my 120 volt wiring here. And this is triplex, so inside it has the negative, the positive, and, well, the negative, the positive, and the ground wire. Also for this project, I have my connectors. These are my 3-way split connectors, my female and male quick connects. I also have my wire cutters and crimpers. I have a boatload of electrical tape. I'll get into what I'm using all these colors for in a minute. And then I have some rubber grommets to use when feeding the wire through some of these holes. Okay, so what I'm trying to figure out right now is so I've been wiring for a little bit. I've got this one down here is, I'm hoping I can relocate the toilet, but if I can't, this is for that. I've just got it tucked in here. I have the wires for my 12 volt outlet. I have the wire for my reading light and USB outlet. And then I also wired for the switch and the water pump here. And that was, believe it or not, 100 feet of wiring. So I'm glad I got 200 because I still need to do the cooktop, the driver's side, light and outlet, and then all of my lighting. Hey guys, so it is a few days later. I ran out of the 12 gauge wire for my 12 volt system, just shy of what I was doing before. I ran out of the run to come up to the fan, and then I didn't have all the little pieces I need to run off of this to where my puck lights are gonna go. So that is what I'm out here doing now. So I've already connected the fan. You can see that here. And this will tuck up, this will tuck up here so that I can access it. And then I am using these 3-way splitters to get all of the offshoots for the wires done. So I'm doing the ones for the ceiling lights, and then I'm gonna come over and do the ones for the under cabinet lights. Cool, so I thought I was just recording, I wasn't. Awesome. Let me start again. So what I am doing right now is completing the total circuit for my ceiling lights. So I have the string that I ran across for this, and then I have all these spots. I have this one here, this one, this, and then the other 2 spots up there where my ceiling lights are gonna go. So to get this connected to the main wire that I'm running for the fuse, I have this little 3-way connector that I'm going to use. So the through wire will run through this part where you can see my finger, and then the other wire, the offshoot wire, will go into this one that has a stop on it. I will crimp this down, close the connector, and then I have an offshoot wire. When I get to the end here, I was trying to use these spade connectors, and I was just having a really hard time because that's about the size of the wire before you strip it. But once it's stripped, even when I crimped it, I had a few of these just pop off, and I might just be really bad at crimping because this is the first time I've ever run electrical, but I just don't like the idea of the possibility of it coming out like that. That was really stressing me out. So usually this is the female spade connector. The male piece would slide into this, so I would put one on either side. Cool. Instead, Nate at explorist.life, he recommends these little lever, whatever they're called, terminals. So same thing, you strip the wire and shove it in these little holes. while the lever is lever is lifted. So it will slide in under this orange thing in that gap, and then when you bring the lever down, this pops up and makes a connection between this bottom lever piece and this top piece. And then the top piece is what runs across to connect the circuit. I will use the 3-way connector to connect to my wire that's already been strung for the main wire through the current, through the fan. And then I am cutting these pieces to length to run them over to the wire, and then with a little bit of extra so that if I need to replace these puck lights, I have this little extra wire up in there where I can pull this through and work on the light. I have an extra bit of wire where I can cut it back if I need to and replace the light if need be. So that's what we're doing. Okay, and that is pre-wiring. I really don't have much more to say about it, you guys. It's a pretty simple process. The hardest part about it is figuring out what gauge wire you need, and then obviously all the standing and looking while you figure out your layout. And as far as cost goes, I'm gonna do a whole thing with the entirety of the cost for the whole electrical system, but for this little bit in particular, and that included some of the tools that I needed to get that I didn't already have, I spent roughly $500. I will add a little breakdown here at the end. I know it's not the entirety of the cost that I spent for this part of the project because I went to the store so many times and then had to go back and do things. So this is a rough estimate of what this part of the project cost me. There will be a full breakdown for the entirety of the electrical and solar system when I am done with that. So, all of that said, thank you guys so much for tuning in again. If you're enjoying the videos, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and tune in next time.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go. Oh, we are all